In this video, I will show you how to use the Native Plant Finder app on the National Wildlife Federation website to explore the relationship between caterpillar species and their native host plants. As with any website, ask your parents' permission first. The website address is nwf.org/Native Plant Finder. You do not need to create an account to use the site. You will only be asked to enter your zip code. That is so the app can show butterfly and plant species that are native to your local area. We can look for native plants or for butterflies. Let's click Find Butterflies first. Here we will need to set our location by entering a zip code. I am going to enter a zip code that is near the middle of Fairfax County. Now we can see butterfly and moth species that live in this zip code. We see some pictures of adult butterflies and some pictures of caterpillars. We know that butterflies go through metamorphosis. Their larval stage as caterpillars looks very different from their adult stage as butterflies. In the larval stage, caterpillars can only eat certain plants called host plants. Adult butterflies are not so choosy. They can drink nectar from other flowers, but the caterpillars are limited to their host plants. Different species of caterpillars have different host plants. Do you remember what plant monarch caterpillars eat? Let's look it up and see. I can search for monarchs by typing it into the search bar at the top of the screen. And then I will click on the result. Monarchs eat milkweed. Did you remember that? Milkweed is the primary plant for monarch caterpillars. They can also eat honey vine, which is related to milkweed, but they cannot survive on other plants. That's why we plant milkweed for monarchs. However, milkweed is poisonous for most animals. Let's click on milkweed and see some of the other butterfly and moth species that can eat it. Here I see monarchs, as well as some of the other species that can eat milkweed. And here I can see that milkweed can feed 12 different species of butterflies and moths. However, that number is not very big. There are many, many more butterflies and moths that cannot eat milkweed. Let's click on Find Butterflies again so we can see what a different butterfly eats. This time, I'm going to click on Coral Hairstreak. The coral hairstreak only eats plants from one genus of tree called Prunus in Latin. This genus has several different species of trees, however, including cherries and plums, as well as peaches and almonds. These are the species that are native to the zip code. Here I can see coral hairstreak, as well as some of the other butterfly and moth species that can eat this plant as caterpillars. And here I can see that these trees feed 390 different species of butterflies and moths. That is a lot more than milkweed. Now let's click on Find Native Plants. These plants are divided into flowers and grasses at the top and trees and shrubs at the bottom. Trees and shrubs are woody plants. They have branches and sticks, while flowers and grasses are non-woody. They have flexible green stems. In the bottom right corner of each picture, there is a number next to a butterfly symbol. This shows us how many different species of butterflies and moths can eat this plant. I notice that the numbers start out large and then they get smaller as I go down. These plants are in order from more species supported to less. So I can easily see the plants that host the most different kinds of butterflies. These plants support biodiversity. Many different kinds of life depend on them. Often birds and other animals depend on these plants as well, especially if they eat caterpillars. If I look at trees and shrubs, I can see that oak trees support 513 species of butterflies and moths. They also support many birds who eat those caterpillars, as well as mammals like squirrels and chipmunks who eat acorns. If I want to increase biodiversity in my yard at home, I may want to plant an oak tree. I know that oak trees will feed many different types of animals and so increase the diversity of wildlife in my yard. However, I know that there are still other butterflies who cannot survive on oak trees, such as monarch butterflies. If I want to attract monarch butterflies to my yard, I will also want to plant milkweed. I will want to increase the diversity of plant life in my yard to increase overall biodiversity in my yard. You can continue to explore this site if you're curious about a particular butterfly or plant. If you want to attract zebra swallowtail butterflies to your yard, what should you plant? Or if you plant native strawberries, what butterflies can you attract to your yard? Have fun exploring.